Hello, everybody.
Hi Shrikant, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Great. Hi Suresh.
Suresh, namaskara. Suresh? We'll wait for some time.
Yeah, another couple of minutes. We can wait 2-3 minutes more,
Yeah.
and then we can start.
Some small glitches are there.
Acha. For example.
Sometimes, if you press any command keys,
Mm-hmm.
that is a shortcut key for this software. I mean, this app.
Mm-hmm.
Direct है. Press F, press M, not control M or something like that. So,
All right. Fine. I think we can get started. People will join. Shrikant,
हाँ जी.
shall we get started?
Okay.
ఒకదాంట్లోనే వస్తూ ఉంటుంది ఫోన్లో హెడ్ఫోన్స్ రెండు పొందేవా ఇక్కడ ఉంటాయి రా చిన్న
Just give me a second.
Sure.
You are able to see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's. The streaming is also started, so I think we can start. Uh, Now, the the best part of team development is that it's quite easy. At the same time, there are many issues regarding that. So, like I like I said, what we want to cover is whether how do you develop this in a local environment. The reason why everybody wants to develop in a local environment is very easy to fix things and get things to test it out also, and then you can deploy it. Now the question is, how do you do it on a local environment? So there are a couple of ways to do it. Uh, there is no guarantee that each can everybody turn their microphone off, please?
No, Acha.
It's creating a lot of echoes. Okay, it's better now. Okay, there are different ways of yeah, there are a lot of different ways of doing going about developing in local environment. So one of the methods which came up recently is local by flywire. Okay. Now, what this particular website is that it is free for normal deployment, and when you deploy on this, uh, you can also share it with your customer also, like where you are and what place you are. So it's very simple, very simple. It's a free to download, and you can watch the video, which is very simple. I have not used it much. I used it a couple of times only, and it does, like, you can install it on Mac, you can install it on a Windows. This requires a couple of things. Get it now, and you can download about quite a large size, huh? Because it downloads the WordPress and everything and installs it on a local. At the same time, making it available on the website also. You can watch the video. It's quite
Download
nice.
Local for free at local.getflywheel.com. When you're developing web,
So you can see this video and go about it. In this, there are other ways also of doing it. One is the vagrant way of doing it, but I would prefer to stick to this workshop with WAN. Why WAN? Because the most popular and most easiest way of deploying it on a local. How to go about it? You have to just go to this website. Yeah, you can see the website.
Yeah, Shrikant.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So just go down to this website and then free download. And when you click free download, it asks you again, it's available for Mac or it's available for Windows. You just download this, and it's a very easy installation steps. You just follow that, and once it's installed, you can run the program. It will open up a screen like this, in which you do have a bit of settings. If you want to go into the settings, you have the ports. By default, things are left like that. You can have your PHP, whichever version you want. If you want cache, you can on and off it. If you have web server, you want Apache, or you want anything. The only key thing which I want to focus here is where do you want the document root. Now, this is very crucial. I always select it. I go down to a folder where I keep live drafts and development. Okay. So for this particular tutorial, we can start a new folder over here. You can say workshop. That's the folder which you want. Okay. Now here it will always start. I would start it in the root one, basically because when I start this server, you can see it starts both. Now this is it will open up a web page like this, quite simple. And when you click on my website, you will see the root directory under which we are there. Now if I click on and the workshop, you will see there is nothing in there yet. Okay, that this is how you start WAM. Just run the program, start, and after you have done your work, you can always stop it. So it's very, very simple way of developing, developing on a local environment. So now let's go to the next part of the thing. Of those people who want to see it on a YouTube, I will share this links later on. You have this YouTube where it's clearly showing how to install it on Windows or a WAMP. You can do a MAMP or a WAMP also. Both of these are possible. Now the next thing which we would like on a local development is Node.js. Why do you require a Node.js? It's basically because there are a lot of dependencies which while developing we require, and that has to come. It's easier to manage using Node.js. Again, very simple. Just go down to or just do a Google for nodejs.org and then click on the download here. And when you download, again, you have a Windows installer, you have a Mac installer. So again, in Windows, you have the 32-bit and the 64-bit. You can choose the installer or the zip file if you know how to go about it. I would suggest that use the installer files. Okay. Now once it's installed, you can check what version is installed by just typing in npm version. It will show you the version which is there. So that's the simplicity of installing a Node.js. Now, after installing Node.js, there are two methods we can still follow to continue our development. One is using gulp. Okay, we can use gulp, or you can also use Laravel mix. I have been developing on using gulp. It's much more intensive while installing and requires a bit of configuration. Laravel mix is much more easier. So now how do you go about this? It's quite, again, very simple. Go down, you can search for GitHub Laravel, and once you search for GitHub Laravel, you will get into this. Here we require two files out of this. Of course, you can install the whole Laravel and develop it, but then I make it very simple. I just use this one, Webpack Mix, and then the package JSON file. These are the only two files I use. Okay, now we'll start using it, but now after like any development work would require editor, because without editor we cannot type out the codes. Now the question is which editor to use. Uh, in the market today, there are a couple of editors which are available for free and very popular. One of them is Sublime Text 3. Uh, Something like that. Okay. Sublime Text 3, or you can also use Atom. Ah, just give me a second. Yeah. And the third one is Visual Studio. Yes, Visual Studio also offers you quite a lot of features today, and it's free. I mean, not all of these are free. Because it's free, it's much easier to use. So let's start, because we already created the folder, and so the way I go about it, the basic reason how I go about it is very quite simple.
Hello,
Yes,
Shrikant. Just to interrupt, sorry to interrupt. I cannot see your screen. Uh, like, are you sharing something?
yeah, yeah. One second, just give me a second.
Yeah,
There are some glitches with this. Oh,
yeah,
sorry,
great.
sorry. Some issues on there. Because this is a new software which is freeware, so we're trying to use it. A lot of people are have given them recommendation for this. So, anyways,
Yeah, thank
so
you. As well as just one more heads up. If anyone has any questions, there is a chat box available. They can add their questions over there. Shrikant, you can visit them periodically to answer.
yeah,
Thank you.
so my route, I just go. Okay, there are some glitches. Anyways, uh, we just created a folder for this workshop. So let's go into that. Right. Here we are. So what we require to do now is that create a new file, and this file we will have to name it the same thing. Click on this, click on raw, so that we can copy the whole of this. paste it into this, and of course save. Right? So now we require one more file. This file is the JSON file. I'll explain what exactly is there in that file once we created it. Again, for this, we'll have to go into the JSON file. Is the screen still visible? I hope.
Yes, Shrikant.
So let's go to the raw, because when you copy from the raw, there is no word wrapping and all the other lecture nonsense which comes in. Okay, save this one also. Now that we have copied these two files, we require to do a few things. Go back to your terminal and npm install. Yep. It will pull out all the dependencies which are required. Like all these dependencies which has been written out here will be pulled in and installed in your directory. It takes a while, depending on the speed of your internet. This is the purpose why we use Laravel Mix, because then we don't have to individually download so many of these required files and install it. Right? How do you see what has been installed? Okay, let's go back to the, you see, node modules. This is a, and how many files are there in this, or how many folders. This is all the dependencies which are required, and which is pulled by npm, which is the Node.js. By simply using the JSON file, which shows what exactly it requires, the dependencies which are required for these to work, and installs it properly in Node module. Okay. I hope this is clear. Now, what is Webpack? Now, Webpack is used to ensure that we have a proper screen running. Now, I will just run this and show you how this whole thing works. Okay. npm run watch. And you see, we are running in development environment. Additional dependencies which are required is also pulled in. Okay. So say some of the resources are not found and it can't be done. Now, what are these resources? This is because here we are going to use resources JS app.js. Okay, so we require to create those, right? Instead of creating those this way, I would suggest that we should do it in another easier format. Okay. Right now, I have gone through Node.js. I've gone through how to install the packages via Node.js, that is npm install. Now, unfortunately, we are developing with WordPress, and this workshop is for WordPress theme. Hence, the methodology used right now is not enough, because where is the WordPress? So that the best thing to do is that we had to install WordPress first and then run the whole system. So how do you what I'm doing right now is just thrashing out whatever has been installed, and we have to go back to WordPress, the WordPress site, get WordPress, and download the latest version of WordPress. Unzip it, and copy it over to WordPress. Well, copy it over to your project folder, which is at present the workshop folder. You can name this WP, makes it shorter, easier for us. Right? Now, once you do this, this is not enough. It's not clearly not enough because right now in a local development environment, the server is running. You have the, if you check the website and if you check the development environment, you have the workshop. Inside the workshop, you have the WP, and inside the WP, if you click on WP, you will get into the installation mode of the WordPress locally. Now, before we reach here, before we do this, we require to have the database running. So you go to Tools, go to PHP go to Database, and create a new database. So let's say Workshop. And you just create it. That's it. You're done. Just create a database, right? And then when you come back here, now we can install the WordPress locally. You see, English. Let's go. You can name whatever the WordPress, the same name which are given there in the database. The, the username is root. The password is also root. Database is localhost. And you can give a prefix. It's always preferred to give a prefix. And then click submit. And then run the installation. Takes a while. Installs. Now you can give a name for this. Now I will just continue with the same name. Username, you can give anything because this is local environment and doesn't matter. Admin. Very weak. You just have to confirm. Use the email ID. The email will not go. Trust me, the emails will not go because there is no email server installed. Install WordPress. There you go. That's it. Now that admin, and login, and we are in the WordPress installation. You can visit the site. Yeah, this is a basic installation which is there on a local. Please note, it is on localhost port 8888. Where does this come from? Again, in your WAMP installation, if you check where the port is, it is the Apache port is this. Okay. You don't have to do anything. By default, it will take that. I mean, it's very smart enough to handle this. And because you are under FWP, workshop slash WP, that's where the WordPress is running. Okay. I use a couple of plugins. You don't require this, so just delete it. And I use two plugins all the time. All the time, these two plugins I always use. Show current template. I'll show you why I use this. It makes my life much easier than developing. Let's activate it and install another plugin, which is always required, which is the thumbnail generator. The one issue with thumbnail generator is that recently there have been some changes happening and uh, not been updated for last 2-3 months. Let's see whether that it still continues, but then we just require these two plugins. Now, what is the purpose of using the show current template? Yeah, it's a common question which comes in. If you refresh this, you see it shows you which page is being used now. It tells you where is this and which theme is used, whether it's a child theme or not, and also the following pages are also or PHP files are also being pulled in. Right? Makes life easy because you wouldn't remember after putting in a couple of hundred of pages in your theme which files are being pulled in and which files is currently getting used. The second setup for this particular workshop, which we require to do, is create a couple of pages. Let's just create. Okay, those who are not happy with Gutenberg can install one more plugin, which is the classic editor. I'm quite happy, so I just create one title. Just don't require to do anything great. Just create it now. Add another new and about us. Maybe one more. Contact us. Now we have these 3 pages. Why do you require the 3 pages? Because in the menu you can give main menu, and you can pull in. You can create this as primary, and then you can add all of this. Format, save it, and if you can refresh, you can see the menus are there. And you're required to do one more change over here for this particular workshop. Is for the reading, we will use a static page and we will use a home page. And then for post, we can, of course, we can create one more page which is blog and then enter all your. Okay, let's do that also. save changes. And for permalinks, also it is always because of SEO issues, it's always to change to post name rather than leave it in the default category. Let's save it. The thumb rule is that you press this twice. I have no idea why, but then that's the way I keep doing it because whenever I change the permalinks, then I ensure. So this is the page which is coming up. Why is this coming up? Is basically because it's using these themes which are already installed. Yeah? Do we require these themes? We don't, because we are developing our own theme. So, but at this point of time, the WordPress is ready in a local development environment. Okay? Now, let's come back here. Now you can see the WordPress is there. And you have the contents, then you have the themes. The themes have got these three themes already installed. Just leave for simplicity, we will delete the unwanted themes as of now. Sorry guys, this new software is a little buggy. It slows down the some of the times. I think. Yes. Okay. Leave one theme. Now we create a new folder. Name of the theme, the new folder would be now workshop. Because this is the theme we are going to develop now. Just create that. Yeah. I hope it's clear now that once you install the workshop, in the theme, in the content, and in the theme, let's come back again. After installing WordPress, we go to content, we go to themes, and then in themes, we create a folder called workshop. Now let's come back to where we were here, right? So what is the first command we run? We are we are wrong in the wrong folder as of now because you can see that we are in a folder which is incorrect. Right? So now we require to go to WP. This is the theme folder which we are going to use. Now here we just see what was done. We just did npm install, but unfortunately, where is that npm install? If you try to run this, it will say no, nothing is found because the two critical files which we deleted earlier, we still require it because without those two files, this will not run. Like this is the webpack and the JSON file is required. So what you do here is this save as and save it. The webpack. This is one of the reasons why I use Sublime because although I deleted the folder totally, it remained. Yeah. Now if you check here, there are these two files are available. Yeah. Now let's see running it again. Takes a while. Done. Good. You can see in this folder again the more modules, everything has been installed. Now, what we require is to edit this particular Webpack mixing JSON. What do you require to do this? Quite simple. If you're developing something from here, we have to tell what resources it has to check and then update. Right? So we will, I just copy pasting it now. I'll just go through this. Mixing option, process CSS URLs. That is when you are using CSS. If you are using a URL for any images, you don't want it to be processed because that creates there is a bug in Laravel, so that you just have to use it. And where do you are keeping the JS files, the JavaScript files? We are keeping it under source, JS, and that. So now we require to create those folders. We create a new folder, source, yep. And in source, we have to create another folder called JS, and in JS, we require to create new file called app.js. You can name it anything.js, okay, as long as, and it opens up there, but you don't have to require to do anything as of now. Just leave it in the lab. And once it is processed, where is the output going to come? It has to come into the root directory, which is the workshop directory. Okay? Just comes into the root directory. Now, where should we look for the SAS files? Again, because we are going to use SAS instead of directly using CSS. So again, here in the source file, we have to create a new folder. And in that, we have to create a new file app.css. Yep. And we are very clear, we have the app.css and we have the app.js. Okay. When you, in the development environment, it does not affect, in the development environment, it doesn't affect the source maps. The source maps are required when you are trying to debug once you have minimized the SAS files. The browser sync is telling it very clearly that whenever there is a change in these two files, which is watching, it should synchronize the browser on now. Synchronize the browser on this. Now, what is it showing you? The proxy, which is the local host. Where did this come from? Again, it's very quite simple here. It came from this one. See here, localhost. I just copied it. I didn't do anything much there. Just copied it, and here now WP. Now here, what's the folder? Workshop. Yeah, and then WP. That's where my WordPress is. What is the port? 890. You can give any port here. And which browser it should use? It should use the Google Chrome. Just use so much. Clear? I hope it's clear. I mean, it's very simple to follow if you just do it in, in the stepwise. Okay. Now we have installed. Now let's run the same command, npm run watch. Dependency is going to be installed again. Takes a while. See, it's asking you to run again. Before I run that, let me just. So it opens up the WordPress. Yep. Clear? So what happens is whenever it's watching the files, what we asked it to watch, and whenever there is a change, it will ensure the browser is synced. I'll demonstrate it as we go forward because there are um, too many things to do. How do you get out of this watch? Just press Control Z. It just comes out. And again, when you want to run it, you run npm watch. Simple as that. So this time when it runs, it doesn't do anything much. There's no installation dependency, anything. It just builds and runs you the local environment. Again, here, this old one is closed. It opens up a new port 80, 8091 and it runs it. Right? Hope it's clear. Control Z to get out of this. Good. Now that we have the npm installed, we have everything installed as we require. Now we require in any themes. There are if you look at this theme, there are so many files which are required. What are the essential files required? Really required. What are the files required? So here, if you see right now, there are no files. The first file which would require to create a new file called index.php. Right? What's the second file which you require? Require another file which is called front page.php. Yeah. Let's not add anything into the files now. Just add those files. Those are the files required all the time. We also require a couple of more files, but that's not enough. We require header.php. We also require footer.php. We also require a file for showing us the pages. So the page.php. And then to show archives, we require one more file called archive.php. This is how WordPress runs. I mean, basically, if you want to develop a theme, you require this. You can check, I mean, just for your reference, you don't have to remember. You can check here archive.php. Then we have the header.php. Now, so similarly, you can always go back and check what files are required. Now we have header, we have footer, we have front page, we have archive. And what else do we require? You can always go back and check. Of course, we require one more important file, which is 404.php. Like whenever there is a page not found or something like that, you have to customize this particular PHP file to give you a response, right? You have to create a PHP file. After creating these pages, we also require for any theme, we require one more critical file, which is, I just resize it because the size required for snapshot.png is 1200 by 900. That's the recommended size. So I just rechange the size. And this also requires to be copied. And renamed. Yep. With this much done, let's go back to our page and see whether we have a new theme or not. No, I've done something wrong. By now the theme should appear because we have all the files, right? Now, my friends, there are a couple of more files which is more crucial for WordPress to understand that this folder is a theme file. One of the file which require is style.css, and one more file which will be always, sorry guys, okay, is functions.php. These two files are required. Now, without these two files, WordPress would not recognize this as a theme. And the style.css is the file where we require to put in certain things without which the WordPress is not going to recognize this as a theme. Now, where do you search for this? Very simple. You go to the developer.wordpress.org, go to themes, developer themes, and if you want to find anything regarding themes, this is the sections. So you can go these template sections, getting started, what is a theme, you can setting up development, theme development exercises, theme basic, template files. All of this you can find here. Otherwise, you can also do a simple thing. You can just go down to Google and say theme. You'll see this. What do you do from here? Just do one simple thing. Just copy the whole of this. Why I'm saying this is because WordPress keeps changing. Okay, WordPress keeps changing, keep adding something or the other, and trying to make your theme as compatible as possible to the new versions. I always prefer to do this way. And copy main style sheet style.css, whatever is the example given, just copy it, go to our editor and just paste it. Now, if you once you have done that, you require to rename it. Now, what is this? WP, this is workshop. Yeah. Do you have a URI for this theme? Yes, you can. If you have one, you can put one. You can. You do, at this point, we don't have. So I'll just use my domain. I mean, if you have one, you just put your domain. Who's the author? Yes, it is better to always give author. Let's say WP-BLR workshop. Author URI, of course, here right now we don't have, so we can leave it as this. You can give a short description. Not necessary, not necessary at all. But then we just give one line of description. Of course, I prefer to use version numbers because whenever I keep changing, then I require to know what I've done. Licensing, all this not required. Text domain, yes, you require because while translating your themes, the text domain is the one which is getting referred to. Sorry, oops. So what's the text domain for this? It's same. When normally you use the same name which is used for the theme, but all in small letters. You can put in some tags if you require. I mean, this is for ensuring SEO compatibilities and search engine easiness. And if you want to submit this to WordPress site and post it there, your theme, then you require to put in as much as that as possible. The rest you don't require. I mean, I'll just leave a couple of things there and just delete out the. Done. Now just save this. Now let's check again whether the theme has appeared. Yep, we have a theme. Just 1 second, right? Just 1 second. Somebody wanted some urgent information. Okay. Although the theme has appeared, we are not still not getting this file to be shown there, right? Yeah, you can see live preview. If you try to do it, shows you nothing. This is not picking up the snapshot. Then let's see why. I mean, this is the way to develop because otherwise, always some issues will come up and then we don't know what is there. Here, the name is screenshot. Not, yeah, you see. Screenshot. If you do any mistake in naming the file, things will not work. So that is one reason why I left 2017 there, so that it's much easier for us to reference and find out, because you can always use a theme which, there you go. Yeah, you can see it's there. Hope things are clear till now. Hello, hello. Hello.
Yes, we can.
I mean, there are
Yes.
some bugs in this this one, yeah. It makes my mouse very lethargic.
No, it's fine. You go ahead. It's looking fine.
Okay. I hope things are clear till now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that we have a theme also, now we have to activate this theme, right? Simple. We require to activate this thing, and we activate this thing. Now, once we activate this thing, let's go to the front page and see what is happening. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Why? Why aren't we getting anything? Before that, if when we had this theme, there was a page showing. Yeah. Now, once we activated our theme, nothing is showing. The reason is quite simple. Although we have created the file structure, like we have created the index PHP, we have created the front page, but there's nothing in it. The WordPress is recognizing a theme, but because there is nothing in the files, there's nothing WordPress can do. So how do you go about this? Now, a basic HTML would be required in the front page PHP. Yeah. Or you can also use the index PHP. I'm using Sublime, so it makes very easy. We create a simple front page. Just a simple front page. And just save it. Now, let's do one more thing, because this is where the watch becomes very, very good. Right? That's the reason why I installed this, right? Yeah. Now, if I save this, no, still nothing. Yeah, we have something here. Right? Can you see? It has come. Okay, of course. Maybe because there's nothing in the body, that's why. This is a test page for checking. Updated. We're still not using WordPress. Huh? We are still not using WordPress. There you go. Ah, sorry. This mouse. Having real difficulties with the mouse. Okay, just for just give me some time to hang on with this. Now I'm still doing something wrong. Basically, it's not helping me at all, right? What is that I'm doing wrong? Now, this is where we have to follow what WordPress does. It is not the index file which is getting full. Just one second. The the way WordPress works is that it uses the header file to pull in the headers. It uses the footer file to pull in the footers, and it uses the single page file, that is page file or the index page file or the front page file or the index file to pull in the contents from the database. Now, so that hence what we did there was completely wrong. Now here we have to put this in the header file because this is the first file which WordPress will pull. Now, once this is pulled, where is the balance of the This is the header. This stops at header, and then these two parts we have to cut and paste it in the footer. I hope I'm clear because the way WordPress works is it pulls out the header, then it pulls out the page, and then it pulls out the footer. That's the way it works. It's a very simple way logic of WordPress working. You can check here also. There is a footer, of course, lot more code. There's a header, there's a lot more code. So for us to understand how this whole code works, it is basically the header and the footer. But let's check. This is basic of HTML. Okay, you have to start with a head tag, then a body tag, and then close the body tag, and then you have to close the HTML. Simple as that. Nothing extra. So once we do that, we just save this. Save this. Oh, sorry, not this one. Nothing still coming. But if you inspect, see, there's nothing. So what must be going wrong? What must be going wrong? Any guesses? Of course, here while speaking on this, I use Chrome or Firefox because while developing, we can always inspect the elements and find what exactly is going wrong. If you open the console, you can see what errors are also coming. So it's always better to use Google Chrome to run the whole setup. I mean, sorry, to ensure we analyze what elements are getting used. If you use the page resource, you can see there is just a common, nothing else. So basically, we are pulling the header and then we are pulling the footer. Now, the WordPress still doesn't recognize this much because you require to put in
Shrikant,
yeah.
try adding WP die in functions.php. We can check the functions.php is getting called or not first in place.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Just 1 second. Huh?
Yeah.
Sorry, come again.
We can try a die function over here
Yeah. God.
with an echo at first line and second line die so that we can understand that it's been called properly.
Basic mistake, Re Baba. Now, the running on multiple screen and facing is this bit of a problem. Anyways, because these are all PHP files, right?
Yep.
Huh? I don't think so. It's getting called. Can it just be 1 second? Huh? It's not getting called for sure. Yeah, it's coming. Huh?
Yeah. So functions.php is getting called. The next thing we need to verify is your style.css.
Yeah, that's working. That's working. That's working.
Mm-hmm.
Some spelling mistakes. Mhm. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Let me go to the. Okay. Cool. Oh, good. Hey, Nirav. Hello. One second. One second.